It's spring. We can pack the winter kit away, the weather's going to get a bit nicer, rides are going to be a little bit more pleasant, but spring can have a sting in the tail as well. Typically cold mornings, changeable weather, it can be nice one minute and wet the next. Temperature changes as well, it can be very cold or it can be quite mild, and that can happen throughout the course of a ride. So that's why I've got on one of my favourite pieces of kit that I wear in the spring and also in the autumn, great for changeable conditions, and that's what this review is all about. It's the Castelli Sanremo Thermosuit review. So let's have a closer look at the detail of this Thermosuit. Well, it's a onesie, first of all. That means that the bottom half and the top half are stitched together. There's no bib straps, just like you'd have on a pair of shorts, and in fact it's the top half and it going across your shoulders which kind of distributes the material and supports the Thermosuit while it's on you. The bottom half are essentially Castelli Sanremo bib tights. The top half is almost a long sleeve gabber. It's got the windstopper material, a little bit of water resistance, so essentially a gabber. On the back it's got 3 pockets which are ideal for your storage, and it's about the same storage you'd expect on a gabber or on a decent spring jersey, something like that. At the bottom you've got a pair of silicone gripper cuffs, just like you'd have on a pair of Sanremo bib tights, and they stay there, they grip well, and they're really, really comfortable. One of the details I really like on the Thermosuit are the high-vis flashes, just a little bit across the chest and the back and on the legs as well, and that just helps you to be seen, particularly those slightly gloomier days. Just helps you to stand out a little bit more, and there's the usual kind of reflective detailing on there as well. Also on the neck there's kind of a double cuff going on, and that just helps your neck to stay a little bit warmer when the conditions get a bit wet or a bit cold. It just stops the cold going down your neck. I would say this is very comfortable, in temperatures down to single figures, so long as you're wearing a long sleeve base layer. Freezing conditions, feels like you need something more, but down to single figures it's pretty good, and all the way up to sort of 12, 13, maybe even 14 degrees, it can still be comfortable to wear without getting too hot. It's a bit cooler this weekend, not cold, it's about 10 degrees Celsius, but there is a strong wind this weekend, and that's making it feel a little bit colder, so it's about 3 degrees colder, it feels like temperature compared to the actual temperature in the air. So therefore it's down to about 7 or so. So the long legs, with the rebay fabric inside, they really help in this weather, keep the knees and the legs warm for sure. As the heavy shower blew across, it came with a pretty swift wind as well, and I was kept kind of nice and warm, even though that wind was blowing quite hard, which was good. So it definitely has been protecting me today. Of course, this is one of the conditions that this Sanremo Thermosuit was made for. It's a gabber on top, so it's raining pretty hard, but it's keeping the shower off. I don't think it's going to rain persistently, otherwise I need a waterproof, but in these conditions where it's changeable from dry to wet in showers, I'm pretty confident it's going to keep me dry, and also it's protecting me from the wind as well with the windstopper fabric, so it's made for conditions like these really. I've just ridden through a fairly short but quite significant shower, and as you can see the water is kind of beaded up on top of the Thermosuit. It hasn't gone through, so I'm still dry underneath and everything, which is fine, but I wouldn't call it waterproof by any means, definitely not. So let's talk about the comfort of the Sanremo 2 Thermosuit. Well, the bottom half of the Thermosuit is actually a set of Castelli Sanremo bib tights, but obviously without the straps. So the seat pad is the Progetto X2, and I find that to be the most comfortable of all the seat pads in Castelli's lineup. Admittedly, this is the first time I'm wearing the Thermosuit today in this part of the season, but I've had this for almost 2 years, and I've ridden some very long rides in this Thermosuit. I've done, kind of 100 milers in this thing, and the seat pad is always super comfortable over long rides. Today I'm only doing about 30 miles, but it's lovely. I'm not even feeling it, to be fair. Comfort is measured in 2 ways though for me. One is about the seat pad, but it's also about how comfortable it is to wear when you're on the bike. So that could mean, the feel of the suit on your body when you're on the bike. Does it pull? Does it pinch? Does it stretch, etc.? And actually, it's really comfortable in that respect. It's great that way. Once it's on, it feels, like a second skin. So let's just talk about the sizing of the Thermosuit. I'm 5'10", weigh 70 kilograms. I've got a 30-inch waist, and the sizing for me is pretty good. This is a medium. There is a tiny bit of extra length in the legs and in the arms for me with this medium size, but I mean really marginal. In fact, that just helps to make it more comfortable. So I would say, Castelli sizing, Italian size clothing is supposed to be small compared to other companies, but actually Castelli's sizing is fairly accurate from what I've found. Measure yourself up on the website and go for the size that you're meant to be. No need to size up or size down. It feels weird when you put it on, I will say that, because effectively it's like putting on a pair of tights, bib tights, but without the straps. And then when you put the rest of the body on, so you put your arms through and do it up, you sort of pull it and stretch it into place, and then it feels normal. So it's very comfortable once it's on, but I will tell you it feels weird when you first get dressed in it. I've been riding this Thermosuit now for a couple of seasons, so that's 2 autumns and 2 springs. So it's a real long-term test for this piece of gear. It's one of my favourite pieces of gear to wear at those times of the year, because in the colder conditions it's just about warm enough. Okay, if it's real deep winter, you're going to need bib tights with a bit more protection in it, and you're going to need more of a jacket than this, which is more kind of jersey weight on the top. But throughout the autumn and spring days, when it gets down to kind of 3 degrees or 4 degrees, etc., it's fine, and it's fine to about 10 degrees as well. Above that, start to get a little bit too warm in it, to be honest. But yeah, it's kind of an all-rounder for that. And a couple of things I love about this. I love the stitched middle. A little bit weird when you put it on, because it's got no straps on the inside. The thing that keeps it over your shoulders is the actual top half itself, the jacket, so to speak. But that stitched middle really keeps you warm, which is good. There's no gaps in there for the wind to blow in, etc. But it still looks like you're wearing a regular jersey and a regular pair of bib tights when you put the whole thing together, or so I think anyway. Yeah, a couple of the little features I like about this Thermosuit. One final thing to say, and that is that I bought this in the spring sale. This is normally the kind of garment that somebody's going to want to buy going into the autumn, and that's when a retailer is going to try and charge you full price for this kind of product. Whereas at the end of spring, they want to sell it through because they don't want the stock sticking around for the summer, and they also want to get rid of it before the manufacturer brings out the new version, albeit that new version won't have changed hardly at all from the version that you've just bought. So a top tip from me is buy it in the spring at a really good price, stick it in your wardrobe, save it for the autumn and for the following spring, and then it becomes a really good purchase.